What you're about to learn is the skill that fixes that. Not investing strategy, not real estate, not passive income streams, those all come later. This is the foundation everything else is built on. This is budgeting, and by the end of this video you'll understand not just what it is, but why most people do it wrong, what actually works, and how to build a system so simple you'll wonder why you were ever stressed about money in the first place. Let's get one thing out of the way immediately. Most people hate the word budget. It sounds like restriction. It sounds like giving things up. It sounds like a financial diet that you'll stick to for 2 weeks before abandoning completely. That version of budgeting, the rigid, punishing spreadsheet full of guilt, doesn't work for most people. And the reason it doesn't work isn't a character flaw. It's a design flaw. A budget built around deprivation will always fail. A budget built around intention will always win. Here's the reframe that changes everything. A budget is not a cage. It is a set of instructions you give your money before the month begins. Without those instructions, money does what it wants, and what it wants is to disappear. With those instructions, every dollar has a job. Every dollar goes somewhere deliberate. And at the end of the month, you are not surprised. You are not scrambling. You are in control. So how does it actually work? The first step is knowing your real income. Not your gross salary, the number before taxes, insurance, and deductions. Your actual take-home pay. The money that physically lands in your account. This is the only number that matters when you're building a budget, because you can only spend what you actually have. Many people have never looked at this number clearly. They think in terms of their salary and wonder where it all goes. Start here. The second step is tracking your expenses, and this is where most people get uncomfortable, because the numbers don't lie. You need to know what you're actually spending, not what you think you're spending. These are two very different figures. Research consistently shows that people underestimate their discretionary spending by 30 to 40%. They remember the big purchases and forget the daily ones. The coffees, the subscriptions, the impulse buys, the takeout 3 times a week that somehow doesn't feel like a habit. Pull up your last 2 months of bank and credit card statements. Categorize every transaction. This exercise alone, done honestly, changes behavior, because you cannot manage what you cannot see. Once you have those two numbers, income and actual spending, you can build a framework. And there are several proven frameworks to choose from, depending on your personality and how much structure you need. The most widely used starting point is the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your take-home pay goes to needs, housing, utilities, groceries, transportation, minimum debt payments. 30% goes to wants, dining out, entertainment, subscriptions, hobbies. 20% goes to savings and extra debt repayment. It's a guideline, not a law, but it gives people a starting ratio that works for a wide range of income levels. For people who need more precision, zero-based budgeting goes further. Every single dollar of your income gets assigned a category until you reach zero, not because you've spent it all, but because you've told every dollar where to go, including savings, investments, and emergency funds. The logic is that an unassigned dollar is a dollar waiting to be wasted. When you give every dollar a name at the start of the month, you stop bleeding money through the cracks. The third popular approach is the pay yourself first method, and this one is arguably the most powerful for building wealth over time. The moment your paycheck arrives, you immediately transfer a set amount to savings or investments before you pay a single bill or make a single purchase. You live on what's left. The psychological difference between this and saving whatever's left at the end of the month is enormous. Saving last means savings get whatever survived your lifestyle. Saving first means your lifestyle gets whatever survived your savings goal. One builds wealth. The other builds nothing. Now let's talk about the categories that actually make or break a budget, because not all expenses are equal. Fixed expenses are predictable: rent, mortgage, car payment, insurance premiums. They're the same every month and relatively easy to plan around. Variable expenses fluctuate: groceries, utilities, fuel, clothing. They require an estimate based on your spending history. Discretionary expenses are the choices, the restaurants, the entertainment, the online shopping. This is where most budgets either succeed or collapse. The single most dangerous budget category in modern life is subscriptions. Individually, they feel trivial. Netflix, Spotify, a gym membership, a meal kit service, cloud storage, a news site, a streaming game platform. Most people are carrying between 8 and 15 active subscriptions and couldn't list them all without checking. Added together, that invisible category often runs $150 to $300 per month for people who believe they barely subscribe to anything. Audit yours. Cancel what you haven't used in 30 days. What you find will surprise you. Housing is the budget category with the most long-term consequence. The general financial guidance is to keep housing costs, rent or mortgage, plus utilities, at or below 30% of your gross income. When housing exceeds that threshold, it compresses everything else. It leaves no room for savings, no buffer for emergencies, no space to invest. People who are perpetually broke despite decent incomes are often simply housing poor. If you're above 35% on housing, that single variable is likely the root of most of your financial stress. Food is the most controllable large expense in most budgets, and also the most underestimated. The gap between what people spend eating out versus cooking at home is significant. In many cases, cooking at home costs 60 to 80% less per meal. This doesn't mean eliminating restaurants. It means being deliberate about the ratio. One intentional shift, cooking 4 nights a week instead of ordering in, can free up hundreds of dollars per month without feeling like sacrifice. The emergency fund deserves its own conversation because it is not optional. It is the foundation that makes every other financial goal possible. Without an emergency fund, every unexpected expenses, a car repair, a medical bill, a job disruption, becomes a financial crisis that derails your entire plan. With one, it becomes a minor inconvenience. The target is 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses held in a liquid, accessible savings account. Not invested. Not locked away. Available. Building this fund is the first savings goal in any budget, before investing, before paying extra on debt, before anything else. And speaking of debt, it has to live in your budget with a strategy, not just a minimum payment. Carrying high-interest debt while trying to save is like trying to fill a bathtub with the drain open. You make progress, but the debt is quietly undoing it. The two most proven debt elimination strategies are the avalanche method, paying minimums on everything and throwing every extra dollar at the highest interest debt first, which saves the most money mathematically, and the snowball method, paying off the smallest balance first regardless of interest rate, which builds psychological momentum. Either one beats paying minimums indefinitely. The best one is whichever you'll actually stick to. The part of budgeting that nobody tells you is that the system matters far less than the consistency. An imperfect budget reviewed and adjusted every month will outperform a perfect budget abandoned after 3 weeks. The first month will be wrong. The second will be closer. By the third or fourth month, you'll have a system that actually reflects your real life, your real income, your real spending patterns, your real priorities. And when your budget reflects your real life, following it stops feeling like discipline and starts feeling like clarity. If this video shifted how you think about where your money actually goes each month, hit the like button. It takes 1 second and it helps this content reach more people who genuinely need it. And if you're not subscribed yet, this is the right moment. Every week we break down the money skills that schools never taught and most people figure out too late, from building your first investment portfolio to eliminating debt faster than you thought possible. Subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's coming next. The next video covers something most people avoid thinking about until it's too late: and understanding it could be worth more to your financial future than anything else on this channel.